Hadassah has been entrusted to take care of the people who defend the state of Israel.
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak in this convention. It's a great honor for me to come. And while I came here to share my experience with you, I would like to start by telling you that when I'll go back to Israel, to my department, I'm going to share with the people there what I saw here. It's very moving for me to see this group of ladies that care about us, that take an effort, come from all over the States, eventually to support us and help us bring the cutting-edge medicine, research, and education to Jerusalem. So thank you very much. Yarden, the young policeman whom you just seen in this photograph, was guarding at the Damascus Gate of the old city in Jerusalem when he and his friends were attacked by terrorists that start firing them. They were able to control the terrorists, but soon after the firefight, one of Yarden's friends noticed that he had a red spot on his eye. Yarden was taken to the emergency room at the Hadassah and Keren campus, and he was examined by one of our residents who called me, and that was Friday night, Shabbat dinner with my family, when he described to me that Yarden has shrapnels embedded into the retina just millimeters from the center of the vision, which is called the macula. Now you have to understand that such injury in an eye usually have very grave outcome because of the mechanical effect on the retina, as well as because of the toxic effect that is often induced by the metal that compose the shrapnels. So immediately we took Yarden to the operating theater, and we were able to remove these shrapnels, but then we had to find out what they are made of. That was already very early in Shabbat morning, and the police opened their lab especially to analyze the shrapnel taken from Yarden's eye. And very soon after that, in a matter of an hour or 2 hours, they were able to tell us that thankfully the shrapnels were made of tin, which is not toxic to the retina. When Yarden woke up after his surgery that took basically the whole night, his first question was, when can I go back to duty? And surprisingly, soon after that, few weeks after he was released from our department, he was able to go back to active duty, exactly the same role that he made before. And if you come to Jerusalem next time around, while you're walking in the street of Jerusalem, you may be lucky and see Yarden again defending you as he defended us. And that was an occasion that we can pay back to Yarden and help him the way he helped us every day, basically, he and his friends. But for me, the realization that Hadassah have a major role in helping and protecting the people of Jerusalem and Israel go back more than 80 years ago. And actually, in a funny way, it's also connected to the Meir Shfea village, like Professor Sviri just mentioned to you, the same place. When my father made Aliyah from Poland in the 30s of the previous century, soon after he made Aliyah with his family, both his parents passed away, and he was left alone in the world at the age of 12, with no other adult relatives, no property, and the only place that took him at that time was the Meir Shfea Youth Village. Starting from there, he ended up at a medical school, again at the Hadassah Hebrew University School of Medicine, and he ended up as a professor of endocrinology at Hadassah. From my mother's side, my mother was born in a kibbutz just at the outskirts of Jerusalem, which is called Kiryat Anavim. She was celebrating her 19th birthday when a bombardment occurred in the kibbutz, killed 17 people, and my mother was gravely injured. She was taken to the Hadassah hospital that was at that time, that was during the War of Independence, was located in central Jerusalem after the Mount Scopus campus was evacuated, and she was treated there. She was in coma for 10 days. After that, she was rescued only by penicillin that got to Jerusalem through one of the convoys that was able to break the siege over the city. So you can realize after these two stories, me and my two other brothers were born at Hadassah, and my three kids were also born at Hadassah, Mount Scopus, and I'm part of the Hadassah family. And I'm very honored and privileged to serve as the chairman of the Department of Ophthalmology. But it's not enough to provide cutting-edge medical treatment, education, and research. We also need to think of other ways to help the community, but not only our community, but also to perform outreach to developing countries and people that need our skills and knowledge around the world. Actually, this was realized by the Hadassah Department of Ophthalmology more than 60 years ago when Professor Michelson established a program of diploma. In that program, we trained ophthalmologists that come from all over the world, and we try to make them bring the most advanced ophthalmology to other countries around the world. Now, when Hadassah was established as an organization more than 100 years ago, trachoma was very prevalent in Israel or Palestine at that time. And today, because of your action, because of Hadassah initiative, we have 0 cases of blindness in Israel because of trachoma. But in other parts of the world, it's still active. And I would like to tell you now a story about one of our residents. Her name is Elinor Neche. Elinor, that you can see here in the photograph with her daughter, is from Cameroon. In 2012, 4 surgeons from our department went to Cameroon to operate on people in a remote area of the country. And Elinor at that time was a young physician, and she was inspired by these 4 ophthalmologists, and she applied for our international program. By now, she has completed the program very successfully. I can testify that she is an amazing, excellent ophthalmologist after she completed the training. And she went on to do cornea subspecialty, and now she's almost completing her cornea subspecialty. During the fellowship that she performed in our department, her father, that was growing her daughter, that you can see here in the photograph, passed away. And Elinor, who is a single mom, was in a very deep trouble. She wanted to complete her fellowship, and the Hadassah management enabled us and helped us to bring the daughter to Israel so Elinor can complete the fellowship. And now in these days, she is finishing her education, and she already has a position in an eye institute in Cameroon when she can bring all the knowledge that she gained at Hadassah to the population of Cameroon. We already have tens of stories like Elinor's story. These people are not only ambassadors of Hadassah, they are also ambassadors of Israel in many countries around the world. You can see them in many countries in South America and in Africa and in other countries around the world. More than 30 different countries have people like Elinor that trained at Hadassah. Having such advanced medical service, very advanced research and educational program is not trivial in a city like Jerusalem. Jerusalem is not an easy place. Just today, as Professor Rothstein mentioned to you, we had the first gene therapy treatment done through surgery at Hadassah. This treatment, and I can tell you that the patient is doing very well now, such treatments are difficult to develop in a country like Israel. But I would like to quote here the Jerusalem late poet Yehuda Amichai, who wrote that Jerusalem is a port city at the shore of eternity. And I would like to add to that Hadassah today is one of the foundations of modern Jerusalem. The vision of Hadassah that materialized in the Hadassah Medical Center, equity, inclusiveness, providing excellent education, excellent medical care, education to everybody. Such vision, when it materializes in a place like Jerusalem, echoes not only in Jerusalem, not only in Israel, but has international ramification. People are looking at Jerusalem, and it's difficult to do such things in Jerusalem, but when you're doing that, it has a global implication. I know that the partnership between Hadassah and ourselves on the ground in Jerusalem can really make the dream of having a new eye department, a new eye institute, a reality. And we must have such a new department because the infrastructure that we have today is outdated. And if you would see the operating rooms, when we did this gene therapy, this cutting-edge treatment in Jerusalem, you wouldn't believe that something like that is possible in such a facility. So thank you very much in advance for helping us improving the infrastructure and bringing it to the level that Hadassah deserves. Thank you.